for somebody to mix your song means you deliver stems or multi-tracks. Some people get this wrong because not everybody knows everything when they're starting. You can't expect everybody to be a professional for when they start. Not everybody's a professional until they're a professional. So getting there means you got to learn some stuff. This is one of the critical things you must learn. When you're sending your stems out, you can't just send the stems or the multi-tracks. You also need to send a rough mix. What's a rough mix? A rough mix is the stems or the multi-tracks all put together, so when you hit play on that one rough mix, it's everything the way it should sound. The way you've been listening to it when you hit play on your DAW and you've got all your pieces, it should sound like that. That's what we want. We want what you've been listening to, okay? All together on one track. We hit play, we know what it's supposed to sound like. That gives us the first fail-safe, to know that we have everything. The second fail-safe, and this is the extremely important one, is that you must consolidate the files and do not strip silence at the end of anything. We want a block. We want to open the file, the zip file you send us of a ton of stems. We want to open that and we want to see the same size on every file. We want to see 59.6 megabytes, 59.6 megabytes, 59.6. They should all be the exact same size. Reason being, that's how we know that everything's going to line up in the right place. If you strip silence at the end or do something like that, everything will look like this. Let me show you. So this is a session I'm working on. I'm trying to mix a song for somebody. Check this out. This is what they sent me. Now, I have no way of knowing if this track is supposed to end here or if it's supposed to start here. In other words, this requires more communication, more figuring stuff out. And it's impossible to figure this stuff out because, is this supposed to be here? Is it supposed to end there? Or is it supposed to be here and it just stripped the silence off the end? And does this start here? Is it supposed to be more of this? Is this supposed to be up here? In other words, this is a nightmare. This is not what you send somebody. What you send somebody is all the same length so that when we get it, I'll show you what it looks like. Here is outside of everything. Select the whole group. You don't have to go way outside, but you want to go outside enough of everything so that if there's a tail or something, it's still caught. But just get outside all the files, okay? You're outside it. Then on Pro Tools, you come up to Edit and you go to Consolidate Clip. Now look, once you go to Consolidate Clip, everything becomes the same size. You notice now I have a block. I have a block that ends at the same point and starts at the same point. So this is when we import files that are correctly done, this is what it looks like. It looks like all the same size because this eliminates confusion. Now I know there's no possible way that this was supposed to be here or this is two files and this is actually, sometimes if you export separate clips, this thing could be is that a part of this? No, it's not. It's supposed to be a block. Once you know it's supposed to be a block, I can start working right away. Fail-safes in place all the time. That makes sure that we don't mix a whole song and everything's in the wrong place. Okay? So this is how it should be in Logic. It's called extend file length to project end is what you want, or export cycle range only. Either one of those is fine because as long as the project length is set at the end after all your tracks, you could do either one of those and that's fine. What you don't want on is normalize. Make sure normalize is not on. If normalize is on, it's going to wreak havoc on volumes of your stuff and you don't want that. You want it to normalize off, okay? Make sure when you export stuff that all your tracks are not clipping either. In other words, if this track is like this, and then you export that, it's going to be clipping all to hell. So make sure nothing is clipping when you export, okay? That's the critical thing. What I like to have people do is export without the effects and then commit the effects and export with the effects. Give me both. That way I could use what you've done if there's a reason and something great, and I could also not use it if there's not a reason and it sucks. We can do both, all right? You guys got this piece of cake, keeping it kind of short. I'm going to link to another video up here somewhere of the stems, how to export stems, just because it's a little more in-depth version of this and a couple more of the settings that you should check out to make sure you're doing that right. All right, guys, see you soon. keep in mind, you guys got this. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. Take it easy.